So we believe one of the most powerful models for uh, the gospel is this concept that we describe as we change culture from within culture. You've got to be a part. I think so often the church historically has been so good at just lobbing thoughts or accusations or ideas or concepts from a distance, kind of standing outside and throwing things at people to try to convince them to come to maybe to a different side or something like that. And I think the model that we see Jesus does so often in so many different ways, the story of the woman at the well is great. Zacchaeus, there's so many great stories of Jesus. He interacts with people, and we change culture from within culture. And so the challenge for us is to engage. Proximity matters. Talk about that all the time. And so engaging with people and connecting with people and being a part of their lives. But, being careful with that, but sharing the gospel through proximity, not from a distance per se. And we see this in First Corinthians chapter 9, verse 22, 21, 22, 23. And there you catch Paul talking a little bit about, rewind to 19, even though I'm free from the law when I'm with Jews, he walks through this whole thing of what he does. And verse 22 is really the key phrase there when he says, I do everything I can to find common ground so that I can save some, so I can draw people to Christ, right? Right above that, he says, listen, I obey the law of Christ. I obey God's law. And so at the end of the day, this is not an excuse for him to sin or to compromise or to, because he's trying to relate or find common ground. That's not it. He's not compromising in his convictions or his morals, but he is trying to find common ground. He's trying to build relationship, to draw people, to share the gospel in proximity. And I think that's really the challenge for us today is we change culture from within culture. So often if there's something that you see, if God has opened your eyes to something, there's a frustration you have with culture, I always encourage people to engage. Like if there's something happening that you don't like or something happening that frustrates you, to engage. It's important for you to engage, to be a part of the dialogue, to be a part of the conversation. Too often we just complain about it. Too often we just, here's what I would do, or I wish that, we just lob these phrases into the air, hoping that they will land and show people the error of their ways and compel them, right? Like we all know that doesn't happen. So I encourage you in those situations to engage, to share the gospel from within, to be in the world, not of the world, to use that phrase, to engage in conversation, to engage in relationship, or as Paul says, to find common ground with people, to get in proximity with them so that the light of the gospel can shine through your life, so that you can, in relationship with common ground, in proximity, draw people to Christ in your conversations.